Elias Vance wiped the sweat from his brow and leaned against the workbench, staring at the blinking lights of his outpost's control panel. The asteroid belt stretched endlessly outside the reinforced windows, silent except for the hum of machinery. It was the kind of quiet that either drove a person insane or made them feel at home. Elias preferred the latter. Out here, alone, he had his tools, his wits, and the occasional company of the occasional trader or freighter. That was enough. A sharp ping on the comm panel broke the monotony. He leaned forward, squinting at the display. A distress beacon. Out here, it could mean anything. A mining drone gone haywire, a wayward supply ship, maybe even a passing shuttle whose navigation had failed. He hesitated only a second. Elias Vance, this is an unknown vessel. Your assistance is requested, a voice said, cautious, soft, and strangely melodic. The accent was unlike anything he had ever heard. Curiosity won over caution. On my way, he said, strapping on his tool belt. He was no hero. He was a mechanic, plain and simple. But he had a habit of helping things that couldn't help themselves. As he stepped outside, the hull of a ship came into view. It shimmered faintly under the asteroid dust, a sleek petal-shaped vessel unlike any human craft he had ever seen. It limped through the void, leaving thin trails of flickering light where plasma had escaped its engines. The design was beautiful and unfamiliar, like something from a dream. Elias felt a thrill of excitement he hadn't felt in years. This wasn't a mining drone. This wasn't a freighter. Whoever or whatever was inside this ship needed help, and he was the only one who could give it. He guided the vessel into the docking bay with gentle instructions over the comm. The ship hummed in response and a panel slid open. Out stepped a figure that made Elias catch his breath. Tall, graceful, with skin that shimmered faintly under the bay lights. She moved with a calm elegance that made him feel clumsy and awkward all at once. Her eyes were bright and intelligent, scanning the room, the tools, even him. She raised a hand in greeting. "I am Tyrion," she said. Her voice had a musical quality that made his chest tighten. "My ship is damaged. I require assistance." Elias nodded, trying to sound professional. "Well, you've come to the right place. Let's see what we're working with." Over the next few hours, Elias examined the ship. It was advanced beyond anything he had ever seen, but some parts, stripped circuits, bent thrusters, loose power conduits, were surprisingly human in their simplicity. He rolled up his sleeves and got to work, using the tools he had salvaged over years of asteroid repairs. Tyrion watched quietly, occasionally asking questions but mostly observing. "Why do you work so hard, human?" she asked at one point, her luminous eyes fixed on him as he wrestled a stubborn panel into place. Elias shrugged. "Because things that are broken deserve a chance to work again. Otherwise, what's the point?" Tyrion tilted her head. "You do not seem afraid. Many would hesitate at these risks." "I don't see it as risk," he said, wiping grease from his hands. "I see it as opportunity. Something's broken, I fix it. That's my way of looking at life." Her lips curved into a faint smile, a simple philosophy yet profound. For days, Elias worked. He improvised parts from old shipwrecks, rewired circuits with human ingenuity, and even joked with Tyrion to keep the tension light. She listened, sometimes laughing softly at his stories of life on the fringes of human space. He told her about the traders who always complained about asteroid dust, about the small joys of discovering a new type of fuel crystal, about the solitude that made life here both lonely and peaceful. Tyrion shared little of herself, though not out of coldness. She spoke of Solari exploration, of the precision of her people and of the expectations that weighed on her shoulders, but she didn't reveal everything. She only allowed him glimpses like fragments of light through a dense fog. Elias didn't mind. He was content to tinker, to observe, and to share his simple human perspective. And gradually Tyrion seemed to open up. She asked about Earth, about humans, about why he chose to live in isolation. He told her it was freedom. He told her that sometimes the quiet moments were where the real magic of life could be found. By the third day, the ship hummed with life again. Lights flickered on, engines warmed, and systems began to respond to commands. Tyrion tested the controls, moving with an ease that seemed almost supernatural. Elias stepped back, wiping sweat from his brow, pride swelling in his chest. He had done it. Against all odds, he had repaired a ship that shouldn't have been repairable. Tyrion turned to him, her eyes reflecting something deeper than gratitude. "You have done more than repair a vessel, Elias Vance. You have restored faith Faith in the possible? He laughed softly, embarrassed. It's just a ship. Do not underestimate the significance of what you do, she said. Your actions, they speak of courage and kindness and persistence, qualities rare in the universe. Qualities my people would admire. Elias felt a strange warmth in his chest. He had never expected recognition from anyone, let alone someone from a civilization light years beyond his own. And yet here she was, acknowledging not just his skill but his heart. When it came time for Tyrion to depart, Elias felt a pang of something he couldn't name. He had grown accustomed to her presence, her quiet curiosity, her gentle questions. She stepped into her ship, glancing back at him. You are welcome to come aboard for a test flight, she said, but do not feel obliged. Elias shook his head. No, someone needs to keep the outpost running. But thank you for trusting me. The engines flared and the ship lifted from the docking bay, its sleek form cutting through the asteroid belt like a silver blade. Elias watched until the ship disappeared into the void, leaving only the faint trail of light behind. He turned back to his workbench, but the silence felt different now. It was no longer empty. It was filled with the memory of someone who had seen him, not just his hands or his tools, but the way he thought, the way he cared, the way he never gave up. For the first time in years, Elias felt the stirrings of something new, anticipation. Not for danger, not for work, not for discovery, but for the unknown. For the possibility that the universe had a way of bringing people together in ways that defied reason. And somewhere among the stars, Tyrion felt it too. She piloted her ship with a steady hand, but her thoughts kept returning to the human mechanic who had fixed more than her broken vessel. He had repaired something she had thought lost, a sense of wonder, a reminder that the universe was vast and yet, kindness could be found in the most unexpected places. The stars stretched endlessly before her, but for the first time she did not feel alone, and so, with engines humming and systems restored, the journey continued. Two lives from entirely different worlds were now quietly bound by a simple truth. Sometimes a single act of care could change everything. Weeks passed at the asteroid outpost, and life returned to its usual rhythm. Elias went about his work, repairing freighters and drones, occasionally greeting passing traders, yet his thoughts often drifted to Tyrion. He replayed every moment he had spent with her, the way she had watched him work, the faint smile that had appeared when he made a joke, the strange warmth in her luminous eyes. He tried to push it aside, telling himself she was far beyond his reach, but the universe had a way of refusing to be ignored. Then one day, the outpost shuddered under the hum of approaching ships. Elias looked out the reinforced windows and felt his heart skip a beat. A fleet of unfamiliar ships, sleek and shining like polished gemstones, emerged from the asteroid belt. At their forefront was the silver petal-shaped ship he had repaired. His breath caught. It was her. The fleet docked and a delegation of beings stepped out. Elias had never seen so many of them at once. Each Solari was taller than a human, their forms elegant, their presence commanding. They moved with precision, speaking in quiet tones that seemed almost musical. And there in the middle of them was Tyrion. This time, she wore the ceremonial colors of her house, her posture formal, her face calm yet shining with a light Elias recognized immediately, the same light that had accompanied her fascination with him. She approached him slowly, her steps deliberate. Elias Vance, she said, her voice clear and strong, yet carrying the softness he remembered. You have been found worthy. He blinked. Worthy? What? Tyrion's lips curved in the faintest of smiles, of something most humans cannot imagine. My people have traditions older than the stars you see. Every generation, a princess travels beyond the known worlds to observe alien life and choose a lifemate. Not out of obligation, but because certain virtues are needed to sustain our civilization. I have chosen you. Elias felt his mind spin. Me? But you don't even know me. I'm just a mechanic. Tyrion shook her head gently. You are more than you know. It is not perfection that I seek. It is courage, kindness, persistence. You showed all of these when you repaired my ship without expectation or reward. You gave what was broken a chance not because it was required, but because you believed it should be. That is a virtue rare in the universe. The other Solari murmured among themselves, curious but silent. Some seemed to struggle with the idea of a human being elevated to such a position, yet the rules of their tradition left them with no choice but to observe. Elias struggled to process it. I don't understand. Why me? Why a human? Tyrion took a step closer. Because you reminded me that even in a universe of unimaginable technology, the simplest acts hold power. Your spirit, your heart, your courage, they are qualities my people have long forgotten, and in you I saw the possibility of connection, of hope. Elias felt a mixture of awe and fear. To be chosen by someone from a civilization so far beyond human understanding was overwhelming. He glanced at the outpost, at the tools he had spent a lifetime mastering, and realized something profound. The life he had lived, the choices he had made, had all led to this moment. I don't know what to say, he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. I never thought my little life could mean something to someone like you. Tyrion reached out, offering a small, glowing object from her ship. This is a fragment of my ship's core. It bonds only with those who possess the qualities my people revere. It chooses freely, but it will respond only to the one worthy. Will you accept it? Elias hesitated. He was human. His world was small, filled with dust machines and quiet days. Yet here was a being from beyond the stars, offering him something unimaginable. Slowly he reached out, and as his fingers touched the core, a warm light spread through him. It was not only energy, it was understanding, connection, and recognition. The bond was real. The Solari Council observed in silence, their expressions a mixture of awe and confusion. Some whispered to each other, debating the appropriateness of the choice, but tradition left no room for argument. The princess had chosen, and that choice was final. Tyrion stepped closer, her eyes holding his. You have a choice, Elias. You may remain here and our lives will be separate, but your courage, your heart will always guide me. Or you may journey with me, leaving your world behind to explore the stars as my equal. Elias swallowed hard. He thought of the outpost, of the quiet corridors and the hum of machinery, of the small joys of his solitary life. But he also thought of Tyrion, of the bond they had forged through shared work, laughter, and trust. He realized that the universe was bigger than he had imagined, and perhaps he was meant to see it not alone, but with someone who understood the beauty of effort and care. I will go with you, he said finally. The words felt strange yet right. A rush of excitement filled him, mingled with a deep sense of responsibility. He was stepping into the unknown, but he was ready. Tyrion's face softened, and she took his hand. Then together we will journey where few have gone, and perhaps teach my people what it means to value simplicity, courage, and compassion. As the outpost's lights dimmed behind them, the two stepped aboard her ship. Elias marveled at the interior, a harmony of advanced technology and elegant design. It was a world unlike his own, yet there was a sense of warmth that reminded him of home, the same warmth that had drawn Tyrion to him. The engines hummed to life, and the stars stretched out endlessly before them. Elias felt a thrill unlike anything he had known, a mixture of fear and exhilaration, but he also felt certainty. He was with someone who believed in the same things he did: effort, kindness, and the courage to embrace the unknown. Tyrion piloted the ship with graceful confidence, but she kept glancing at him, a faint smile playing on her lips. For her, the journey was no longer just a mission or a tradition. It was an adventure, shared with someone who had shown her that even a simple human could illuminate the vast darkness of space. Days passed as they traveled through uncharted regions. Elias learned to understand her technology, adapting his human ingenuity to work with systems far beyond his comprehension. Tyrion, in turn, observed his methods, fascinated by how a mind trained on simplicity could find solutions where advanced logic had failed. Together, they repaired damaged satellites, navigated asteroid fields, and communicated with other civilizations. Through it all, their bond deepened, not because of duty or obligation, but because of shared experience and mutual respect. Elias's humanity, his humor, his curiosity, and his care reminded Tyrion that even the most advanced civilization could learn from simplicity. And Tyrion's wisdom, patience, and grace taught Elias that there was a universe worth exploring, beyond the comfort of his small outpost. One night, as the ship drifted past a nebula that shimmered like liquid gold, Elias leaned against the control panel and looked at Tyrion. You know, he said quietly, I never thought I'd leave the asteroid belt, and now here I am, traveling through the stars with a princess. Funny how life works. Tyrion smiled, her luminous eyes reflecting the colors of the nebula. It is the unexpected that often teaches us the most. And it is courage, kindness, and persistence that shape destinies even across galaxies. Elias reached out and took her hand. Then let's keep exploring, together. And so they journeyed on. Two beings from entirely different worlds united by a bond that transcended distance, language, and culture. Humanity had shown its greatest strengths: empathy, ingenuity, and courage. And in turn, the universe had opened itself to them, revealing wonders beyond imagination. They would face challenges, certainly. But for now, the stars were theirs to discover side by side. And in that vast, unending expanse, Elias understood something profound. Sometimes, a single act of care, a single decision to help, could ripple across the universe and change everything. The ship glided past distant planets and shimmering starfields, carrying them into the unknown. Bound by trust, respect, and a shared sense of wonder. The story of a human mechanic and an alien princess had only just begun, and the universe, wide and mysterious, awaited them.